As we continue to take a week-by-week prognosis of our 2024 NFL opponents, we stumble upon the Jacksonville Jaguars, who will face at home in Week 9, but they'll be our 8th opponent because we had that early bye. And man, this one is all too familiar because our former head coach, who won us our only Super Bowl in 2017, is Doug Peterson, and he is a motley crew who's still trying to figure out that identity. And this one could be quite a scrappy matchup with a feisty Jacksonville Jaguars team. What's up, it's your boy Cintron, coming back at you with another analysis video. In case you not, that's my real name. We're going to look at them top to bottom down. But first, we're going to look at what they picked up in the draft and how they've improved their roster. So they went into the draft needing cornerback, D-line, and O-line help. They got all of that. They addressed some of it in free agency with Ronald Darby, a guy who was on that 2017 team, won the Super Bowl. Guy who played in the Super Bowl but was a loser, ultimately lost. I just had to throw it in there for a former 40-winer in Eric Armstead, where he upgrades their talent there. But they were still looking at guys to bolster their talent there at those positions, even though they added these two guys. So they re-signed Ezra Cleveland, the guy they brought over, Mitch Morris. We will get into, and they kept this guy, but still weak on the line. Or I mean, it's the average line, but still, I think on both sides of the ball, they're both they have more potential than I think people give them credit for. And the AFC South isn't the strongest division. Texans, seem to have the upper hand, but you never know their young squad and how they continue to build upon themselves with a second-year head coach who's also young, and D'Amico Ryan. So you never know. But anyways, let's look at who they brought in. So Brian Thomas, obviously a game breaker there with LSU. Seen as a second guy, but he's the more explosive and I think the bigger receiver as well. Ran that 4.34, I believe, coming out of LSU. So pretty good, sure-handed guy. Number 2 for right now, but maybe looking to develop him into their number 1. Mason Smith, a talented D tackle, a position they needed help at. They added a guy in free agency and then doubled up in the draft. So nice for them. They did the same at corner with Ronald Darby, and then he's probably a 1-year flyer. Then adding slot corner Jerry Jones, guy at Florida State. Woo, my alma mater. A talented guy though. And then, you could be their number 3. Well, interior is pretty much like a starting position. Javon Foster, talented, but guy who hasn't rounded out yet at tackle, coming out of Missouri. But, someone there to, be a depth piece and then see if he can develop into a starter later down the line. But they got to steal Jordan Jefferson, the explosive D tackle out of LSU. So they doubled up with LSU D tackle. So interesting there. Drafted some teammates, and we did that, with the Georgia boys. So interesting that they did it in the same draft. DeAndre Prince, good depth piece, could develop into more. Out of Mississippi, Keelan Robinson, an interesting running back, has some good measurables, I believe. And don't know anything about Cam Little or Miles Cole, but just some depth guys, and then someone to obviously challenge the status quo if he's not going to be their starting kicker. So they had a solid draft, man. Doug Peterson building something, trying to build a program down there in Florida. So yeah, I love it. My home state. Anyways, let's get into the projected starters on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Trevor Lawrence, he has yet to reach his vast potential, but he took another step in the right direction last season. But he got hurt and they slipped. So there's that. But he's looking to I think in his 4th year now, step into the limelight and be a solid top 15 quarterback. Nails ranking, and hopefully he's trying to claw him to the top 10. All right, Travis Etienne, he's been kind of as advertised after that lost year, his rookie season. Pretty good back, running, receiving. Christian Kirk, not the typical number 1, but, he's been explosive, and he had his first 1,000-yard season last year, coming over from Arizona, signing the free agency, signing that big contract. So I have a good set of wide receivers, and, Brian Thomas coming along as a rookie, and then Gabe Davis is he could be number 3, number 2, and then, Evan Ingram on the tight end. They can be explosive on offense. So we're going to see how they challenge the Eagles. We'll get into that later, but they present a interesting one because we beat them in 2022, 2 seasons ago. But they're a different unit. The line, Cam Robinson, he's average, but he has good size. Ezra Cleveland was an upgrade. Maybe that's not saying much. Mitch Morris can be solid. Brandon Scherf, average to solid, and Anton Harrison, I think he's underrated. So for me, they have an underrated line. I wouldn't put it in the top 10, but top 15. Maybe they're knocking on the door, and they have some room for growth. But a lot of these guys are solid veterans, so maybe there's not that much to go off of. Josh Allen re-signed him to a monster deal. He's the second or third highest paid edge rusher, so keep him in town. Playing next to Eric Armstead, talented guy. Robertson Harris is a underrated guy. And Trayvon Walker, he was kind of coming on late last year, so underrated front, but heavy. He's in the 270 range. He's 300. Josh Allen is 250, I believe, and then Robertson, I think decent size. So Devin Lloyd, that linebacker that can hit behind them, and Foye, underrated. Tyson Campbell, definitely underrated corner. He's a solid guy as a number one, and he's grown into that role. Ronald Darby, kind of spare parts at this point juncture in his career, but he should be able to hold on to fort for a year. So. But Jerry Jones, we'll see what he brings to the table. But he's just a rookie, so don't know. But he did show some things at Florida State. And Andre Cisco and Darnell Savage, quietly, I would say savagely, a solid group. Pairing, he's got his hands on a lot of balls, and plays center field very well. And Darnell Savage, he's talented when can be on the field. So for me, the underrated defense and kind of an underrated offense. So they could sneak up on you, and if you're not careful. So this is kind of a trap game at home to see, a game that tests the Eagles' mettle. So let's compare them to the defensive unit and offensive unit respectively. So this offense going up against us, it's going to be a good test, man. Trevor Lawrence, he can sling with the best of them. He has no physical impurities. It's all about kind of like the mental, and seeing can he recover from the nicks and dings that he suffered and play through those. But he's a quarterback that definitely challenges defense. ATM will challenge the second level with our linebackers, test our discipline. Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, they all present something different, but they do have the element of speed between all of them. And Brian Thomas, he's like 6'1" or 2, so he can be quite difficult guy to deal with. Gabe Davis runs good routes. So I mean, this trio of receivers is going to test to see if our DBs are legit. It's going to be one of the true tests they face early on in kind of almost in the mid-season range. But and tight end Evan Ingram, he's explosive as they come, and he's kind of mercurial and doesn't always play up to his potential. So has gotten better of late, but what are we going to get from him? So he could be depth threatening. Devin White and those guys in the middle of the field. But the O-line should definitely be one that we should be able to take advantage of on the defensive side. So it's almost a push, but I would say the O-line, we should be able to get pressure on them. So we'll see what happens when we get into Trevor Lawrence's face, especially if we're able to get penetrating pressure up the middle. So Mitch Morse and Brandon Scherf should be destroying those guys. As a Cleveland might hold up, but Jordan Davis, he should be a good plugger. So the run game shouldn't get out of hand, but with those explosive wide receivers, it could, especially using play action and such. I don't know how the offense, what they run, with their play action heavy or trip set, or they run a shotgun or I formation heavy. But in defense, man, gonna present an interesting challenge, because this guy is long. He'll be going up against Lane, so I count on Lane to erase him. But Josh Allen, a speed rusher, and a lot of has struggled, as of recent, and even coming into the league with speed rushers. So it's going to be a good challenge. And Eric Armstead is going to test the mental of Cam Jurgens and the integrity of the middle of our line. And our guy right now is out with an injury, and that being an ankle injury for a couple days, Tyler Steen. So we'll see how he's able to recover, and if he's able to keep ground on Mekhi Becton, because I think he's probably coming for that job, man. You know what I'm saying? Big hurt Sasquatch is a call. Yeah, I call him man Sasquatch, man. I'm consistent, but I'm not gonna say that. But the linebackers in the middle, I think they have the athleticism to run with Dallas Goedert, but it's offense. How Kellen Moore decides to deploy week to week, it's going to be different, and he's going to key on different things. So it'll be interesting to see how they try to and stick with us. And no matter the corners, Tyson Campbell has some good size, but he still is not I mean, nobody's as physical as AJ Brown, man. Out there on the corner, I would have said a Brandon Browner or Marshawn Lattimore is, he's solid. Who am I thinking about? Richard Sherman, good, keep up with him. Would have been good to see him in their prime, but Ron Darby, just definitely, I thought, Smitty should be cooking him. So Jerry Jones should get baptized by, one of our, inside receivers, but it should be a battle we should win. The safeties can be solid. Darnell Savage runs a 4.3. He's explosive, but test, every inch of the field, stretch them out and try to make them defend every blade of grass. So I like our receiving core to overwhelm them. And I'm not saying we overwhelmingly win this one, but we should at the very least squeak out a win, and then maybe handily give them a 7 to 10 point loss. So I have us winning against these Jaguars, and I'm not gonna say that they're not gonna be feisty, not gonna try and knock us off our perch and come in to town and try to get one for their Super Bowl winning head coach, formerly Eagle. But I think we just we're rolling too much with this one. So we're gonna get up out of here on that note. But hey, you're not even watching, but I love making these videos and I love talking about the freaking stinking Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll chuck the deuces officially. But as always, it's Fly Eagles Fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.